Hello. There's the nature of the hard. There is the nature of the hardest. And then there's the one nature, only one nature that is unbreakable, but still a body of value. As life, as a body, as the value of life, and where and how and exactly how it is valued with each person, each body as a nation, not just as a species, in demonstration of the nature that will only stay positive to itself. Negative value nature will only stay positive value nature to itself. With positive value nature, and with the phenomena of the identity coming through it, which will only stay inherently as a forever nature, inherently actively, inherently progressively. The phenomena of positive to itself as value here, and everything, in other words, here as the body of all space. And so when it's not like here always, that's the phenomenon of what is to and as our value to the body of space, negative value nature, so pushed from here. But it's positive value to it because it'll just keeps positive value nature progression somewhere else. In other words, the unique value of Earth to overall space body is the ability to demonstrate to itself in and as a nature that is only capable of being itself one way, as a quality of diffusion. And when not that, then it's the phenomena of negative value nature in the relationship to positive value nature's progression somewhere else, because it is only with positive value nature and negative value nature working together in demonstration of their shared identity, a body of value as identity. Identity is a body of value as nature. And so to use science and ratiocination, you have to understand the scientific term for a reason spelled Allah in English is before the Quran revealed. And we'll examine how all the controversial parts of it go away. If you understand, in other words, all the hard nature of fact treatment nature of nations, opinion natures to all points are recorded, extorted, criminally foreign influenced. It's not even debatable, but hiding lies, delusions, premises, and criminal intonation persuasions. When you say that, when you use correlation and say it's not right, the people stack, as was forced by what was forcing the slavery, the fact treatment nature slavery of our founders, the fact treatment nature extortion of them who had to hide their roles with the Constitutional Convention. Instead, we lost on these intellectual fact treatment fronts to a method that had them, in other words, they wanted us to counter what is recorded needing to be countered, but it's also recorded with experts on the most facts lying about, hiding their fundamental criminal intonation persuasions, relying upon breached histories. In other words, not telling about our founders' forced slavery, fact treatment nature slavery. Of course, it was worse for people that were forced to be invested as color tortured more by it. That was per an organized crime breaching method that would have everyone perpetually, as now, self-defending identity of value fact treatments, needing to pretend morality, set up awes, pseudo-sophistication, needing to hide lies, delusions, premises, and to pretend morality as a trick offensive predator, not dishonestly. This was engineered how the branches were and areas were engineered motivated to roles already entrenched here, internation, and playing a fact treatment game as victim predator only relays Oz sophistication, comparison natures, saying, oh, it's just, saying without rationalize, worse than rationalizing because that was set up with that measure. In other words, now they're going to compare their sophistication to tactically sabotaged education. This is not debatable. We know that that's why they didn't let people who had dark skin read. That was against everybody. They were also forcing, in other words, they were forcing everyone to a theater as criminal seriousness nature roles, justifying it and glorifying it in relationship to forced alliances to all positions of fact treatment nature. And per breaching method, so if anyone stepped out of that, it's going to scare the sensibilities of everyone. And, and they're going to hurt them. They're going to play fact treatment nature racket tricks to have other people hurt them because it was all the prison system, the internation sciences that put, before the birth of our founders, that put slavery entrenched here and abroad different ways. This was for a fact treatment nature trick because they knew when we try to explain it, entertaining identities as sides, then we're perpetually not going to be able to explain the body of value that we are together, which already revealed its course. And so because it already revealed its course, and because it will only stay positive, progressive onto itself, and or push it away from here, Leith of Hades, as negative value nature. Its nature itself has been demonstrated, its identity, Allah has been demonstrating negative value nature progression since semi-ancient times because the loss of its campus that was revealed before the nature of criminal insidiousness of internation sciences, and that was also to the degradation tactically of nation sciences. There is one course, and until that is positively as the course of nature. Why we have black and white black pupils and whites of eyes. Why the rainbow is in demonstration in the beginning of the Old Testament. Inside clear body's value is polarity nature. And polarity nature is in demonstration of this, the shared body of value that is radical to correlation. So it was an organized crime fact treatment method, worse than torture, that put shock and awe, for example, with the nature of the coalition that formed itself in relation to the attack on the Trade Center. Trade Center is hundreds of nations sharing forced market positions. So in other words, and this is a fact treatment nature of nations with a commonly tactically denatured education, fact treatment nature, fact treatment styles, all abridged, all blaming it on the wrong things, like the concept of America, like the concept of this ancient republic, which was the ancients knew that there's three natures of the republic, and then there's further correlation as that body of value. Trinity. The Quran and the Old Testament, Alpha and the Omega, are in demonstration with cipher, and demonstration through decipher, and with Jesus Christ of being about a positive relationship to positive self as an identity of value that is beyond itself. Positive. So that's how and why positive has also a nature beyond it that is to the conditioning of its nature within as us. Within as our value. Just like our bodies have, like needing a coat in the cold, beyond our control. we need, you could say our fact treatment nature is controlled by what lets decisions in relationship to what is only to a phenomenon of diffusion. And this is where men and where women are correlation nature, because each body of value is like a cell in a body. Its identity, what is positive onto it, is also positive onto the sequence and onto the sequence nature and onto the identity of the other cells of the body, because they share that identity beyond themselves. And space is the same way. That's why there's one system always, inherently, actively, and progressively in relationship to the needs of his body. And like a cancer, there's negative value nature progressions because there's the same pseudo-identity as a whole bunch of engineered, employed, invested, ulterior from natural value nature system identities, which this organized crime of the devil, a fact treatment nature, opinion nature, breaching method, has all nations, all areas employed to rules as fact treatment nature styles, as conviction natures that are perpetually, inherently, even progressively incapable of countering it. As pseudo-sophistication, as comparison nature. So even the people hurt direct right in our faces and their faces the most by how we were tactically forced denatured before, by all the crazy laws with the terror database relationships by the internation sciences, predatory sophistication, only like realized, not realizing, but pseudo-sophistication and invested fact treatments perpetually as tools. Just why they put the shock and awe. Other nations that cultivated our homeland policing to roles, to needs, to make facts mistreatments with that too. So, and then we have fake sides blaming each other, and then tied to the nature of where and how, like nothing, half competing, half the only shared body of value together, not that voice, but through pseudo identity, not by accident. So the media is recorded, criminally influenced, and with sequence shifting rackets, tied to evidence rackets, tied to natures of courts, as the nature of criminal enterprises. I'm not even a lawyer. I'm not a criminal. This is as the nature of criminal enterprises, pretending credibility, as only that realized, frustrated, hurt reaction natures, to what only lets realized, recorded, each age of fact treatment nature distinctly together and grouped and sequentially. Hurt victims of a method only letting realized all points of leadership in relationship to suit and tie type, fact treatment, cohesion stewards, in other words, explainers of the law, only let realized as breaching nature, justification natures offensively, and how only let realized as laws like that, God's comparison natures needing to hide their roles, covering, needing to cover up, needing to prohibit correlation's voice, free speech, needing to prohibit all the surface values of the Constitution in their name. So what they do is that they invested people criminally engineered tactically as a criminal insidiousness nature, caused by a nature of organized crime, by an archetypal criminal enterprise, the devil. And this is what this is about. This is about what made slavery with different colors, and from what we remember about the slave trade, that was forced for a fact treatment nature, extortion, and slavery, and opinion nature, containment of kings, of all kings, fact treatment nature, slaves, and that's by the same enemy that had them as victim predator roles, or even pharaohs. Fact treatment nature slaves, because they denatured. That's why they're moving to build a mountain back. A minority from the cultures of the world were taken into this criminal enterprise together, an archetypal criminal enterprise. They denatured landscapes to set forth sophistication, degraded alliances as the species value nature system they knew it would try to heal itself, not understanding. And what they did was invest it more and more degraded, and then the justification natures of that, sending investigations through what is also juxtaposed overtly criminal enterprises with this, and armies and militaries in relationship to natures of identity, in relationship to an identity, set up sabotage to maintain fixing it, only capable through them, because everyone's a life progression cover-up nature. So that tricked, and that tricked everyone to see. Once you take the position on shock and awe and torture, when the branches were already recorded torturing people, they're still recorded doing it to cover up their recorded roles, inherently, actively, and progressively against each stage of fact treatment nature, distinctly together, grouped, and sequentially, with database rackets original and progress.